Today we're looking at the Kodak Easyshare Z8612 IS. This series of reviews is aimed at people curious about photography who can't afford a DSLR but still want to learn on something with manual controls. I managed to get a pair of these off of eBay for $2. Seriously, $2. They were sold as parts because the batteries were dead. It takes AA batteries, and they're in like new condition. The Z8612 IS is one of Kodak's Easyshare Z series, marketed towards enthusiasts wanting more control over the picture-taking process. It has an 8.1 megapixel CCD sensor and a 36 to 432 millimeter zoom lens. Max ISO is 1600, but you probably won't want to go that high. Max shutter speed is only 1/1000th of a second, but the base ISO is 64. I'm trying out a new format for my videos to make them more uniform and concise. Parameters will have a numerical rating to make it easier to compare one camera from another. First, we'll start with the controls. Menus are very simple. You don't get a lot of options, but you get the most important ones. Zoom uses the same type of rocker everyone else does, and shutter speed, aperture, and ISO are all changed using the directional buttons. It gets a 3 out of 5. The controls are easy but not ideal. There are no dedicated dials or buttons for manual controls. As far as the image quality and lens go, the image quality is generally pretty good. Colors have a lot of pop, maybe too much for some, but I like it. At f2.8 it's fairly sharp in the center, but you get a lot of distortion in the corners. This is to be expected though. Sharpness improves at f4, but the corners stay soft throughout the range. Image quality gets a solid 3 out of 5. Specific to the lens, the minimum focusing distance is, in my opinion, not very good. Usually these kinds of cameras have pretty amazing macro capabilities, but not here. Lens specifics get a 2 out of 5. It doesn't get very wide, and the lack of close macro drag it down against its competitors. Build quality is pretty much what you would expect, cheap but acceptable. It looks pretty nice, but the plastic is cheap and there's a lot of flex. 2 out of 5. It won't fall apart, but you won't be flexing with it. The display is big and bright, but outdoors it is just a bit too dim. Colors are really nice, and the resolution is higher than I thought it was going to be. A solid 3 out of 5. The next few things are of lower priority, so they weigh less against the final score. Take note that 0 is a possible score, so 1 is passable. Operation speed is pretty slow. Menus are not the most responsive, and card write times are meh. A faster card helps though. Still, 1 out of 3. The battery situation is fantastic. Aftermarket rechargeable batteries are cheap. It also runs off of a CR-V3 or 2 AA's. Most cameras like this need 4 AA's. 3 out of 3 for perfection. The handling is okay. The grip is deep, there's a little thumb bump on the back, and the barrel is big and holdable. 2 out of 3 for not being a slippery slab. Now to distribute bonus points. These points are not counted against the highest possible total, but they are huge selling points that boost the camera's overall score. No raw bonus because it doesn't shoot raw. It gets the memory bonus of 1 point since it uses cheap SD cards. There's no viewfinder bonus for obvious reasons. And it gets a 2-point flash bonus since it has a pop-up flash rather than one integrated into the chassis. It also gets an extra award for having a particularly annoying feature. The flash release is actually attached to the on switch, so every time you turn the camera on, the flash pops up. I guess it made it cheaper to build. Its final score is a 22 out of 34, a very passable, slightly above average score. As for value, the most important part, if you like the way it looks, and you can find one on eBay for under $20 shipped, I can recommend it. It is perfectly capable and small enough to bring with you anywhere. Thank you for hanging out with me until the end. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up and follow me so you'll see when new reviews come out. I have a lot of other inexpensive but capable cameras to review for this series. Music is Our Sunrise from Diamond Ace. Check out his SoundCloud. And have a good night.